Welcome to this edition of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast. This is podcast episode 61. In this podcast, I'm going to show you a new technology that I have acquired during the month of February. That's all for this edition, and stay tuned. Hello, it's great to be back with you on another episode of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast. This is podcast episode 61. In this podcast, I'm going to show you a new technology that I have acquired during the month of February. That's all for this edition, and stay tuned. If you would like, you can send an email to me at munnmichael68@gmail.com. That's munnmichael68@gmail.com. Or you can also call using the listener line, and the phone number is 404-923-0115. That's 404-923-0115. I can't believe the first quarter of 2022 is almost over. One significant thing that happened for me during the month of February was moving into a new house and acquiring a new technology. During the month of February, I have received my last Christmas present for the year of 2021. Technically, it was my Christmas present and Chinese New Year present. We ordered it from Apple on December, but due to supply backed up, I waited until February for this brand new iPad. In this podcast, I'm going to show you some of the apps that I run on this iPad. First of all, I have to say, an iPad cannot replace a laptop computer. It can only serve as a temporary tool when a laptop that you're using decided to kick the bucket until you can get a new computer. This is why I acquired the iPad. The apps that I'm going to show you today are apps that have benefited me ever since I started using the iPad. The first app that I'm going to show you is Otter. Otter is an app that I have heard from a friend when we were in a Zoom call. Her professor suggested her using this app. This app enables you to record an audio clip, and then when you finish recording, the recorded audio will transcribe into note within instance. I tried it, and it really helped. So today, I'm going to show you how to use it. I have the Otter app opened, so now let's flick right to explore this app.
Agenda today, no scheduled meetings. Icon calendar, button, calendar.
So you have the agenda, the calendar tab.
Note is processing, 2D ago, button.
So that's a pending note.
New feature, transcribe Zoom live, live captions in live notes, button.
So this is the new feature.
More options, button.
More options.
Try 14 days Otter business free, button.
It's a trial.
Tell a friend, get 100 minutes for every person you refer to Otter, button.
This is similar to Ira or something like that. When you refer this to a friend, you get a certain amount award.
More options, button.
More options.
Send invite, button.
Send invite.
Account, Pro, monthly, minutes reset in 7 days. Next charge on March 26th, 2022, 5,949, mins left.
I paid the professional account because I am not a person that like to click on keyboard. So when it requires serious note-taking, I'd rather let this thing do all my note-taking and then edit it later.
Start a new recording, button.
So here, you have the very important button. When you have your iPad on the landscape mode, the Start New Recording is on the bottom right corner. The new recording is a blue button. Without further say, let's jump into the app and start the new recording. So since I'm on the Start New Recording button, I might as well just double tap.
Start. Pause, button.
Hello. This is a test on the Otter voice meeting app, and this is a podcast demo of Michael's Weekly Perspective, episode 61. When we're done, all we do is hit the pause button.
Record.
So once we're done with the recording, we can just hit the center of the screen, more towards the top.
Hello, this is a test on the Otter voice meeting app, and this is a podcast demo of Michael's Weekly Perspective, episode 61, button.
So you can hear this app is very accurate. My friend said this app is only 98% accuracy compared to some of the transcription apps. I think this is the most better app that I have ever used. When you're done viewing the transcription note, you can also share this note. Let's flick right until we find share.
Share button.
Double tap.
Share. 2. Text field is editing, names, emails, or groups. Insertion point at start.
Now I finished typing in my email in. Once we're done, we can hit send to send this note.
Send. Collapse screen button.
So the note is sent. Now you know the other app. So the next app I'm going to introduce to you is GarageBand, the native app within Apple. This is a music production app. The drum feature on this application always calm me down when I experience stress. Open GarageBand.
Garage loading my song.
I already have a drum virtual instrument loaded. To really get the full out of the drum, you have to turn off your voiceover. That's what I have found. I'm gonna hit the home button 3 times to turn on voiceover.
Voiceover off.
So in here, you can play with the drum app like this. That is one of the drum feature within GarageBand. To find the list of drums, tap the center of the iPad until you find the name of that drum.
Pure house button. Backlight bounce button.
Flick until you find main categories. In here, you have the list of options.
Main categories. Main categories. Acoustic button. Electronic button.
You have electronics,
Acoustic button.
acoustic,
Selected. Recently downloaded button. Electronic. Percussion button.
you have percussion.
Selected. Backlight bounce button. Electronic. Acoustic button.
So I'm gonna tap until I find acoustic.
Acoustic button. Selected. Acoustic. Bluebird button.
So in here, you have the list of drums.
Classic Studio Kit button.
So one of my favorite is the Classic Studio Kit. I'm gonna double tap.
My songs button.
So the drum is loaded. I'm gonna turn on voiceover again.
Voiceover off.
I'm gonna have at it. So now you know why I like GarageBand. The final and last app that I'm going to show you is Calculator Pro. When I used the iPad, I realized, unlike iPhone, the iPad does not have a default calculator ship with the tablet. So a user have to go to the App Store and download one of their favorite iPad calculator apps. My school has been using this great app called the Calculator Pro. So without further ado, let me just show you what can Calculator Pro do. Open Calculator Pro.
Calculator Pro.
So in here, you can put the screen into landscape or portrait. When the screen is landscape, it is scientific calculator. When a screen is in the portrait mode, it is a regular calculator. The screen is in landscape. And I'm going to bring up the control center to lock the orientation.
Lock rotation. Switch button. Off. On.
So in here, you can use it like a regular calculator. But one special thing about this great calculator is that you can adjust the key color based on your preference. So let's hit settings to find the list of colors.
Settings button.
Double tap.
Calculations history bar on. Tap twice to change settings.
So in here, let's tap anywhere on the screen.
Skin number 6.
There are several different kind of screen or background that you can choose. Right now I'm on skin number 6. So I'm gonna flick with my 3 fingers to the left.
Skin number 7.
That is the final and last.
Skin number 6.
So that's skin number 6.
Skin number 3.
Skin number 3 looks like a standard old-style calculator. The screens are grayish green and the keys are gray.
Skin number 3. Tap twice to select.
To select this, you just double tap.
Skin number 3.
You can even use this as a converter for different currencies. So in this case, let's flick until we find converter.
Converter off.
So in here you can turn on converter.
Converter on.
Once you enable the converter, you can start typing in a number that you want to convert. So in this case, I'm going to type in the year of 2022.
2 button. 2 point. But 0 2 but 2 2.
And then flick until you find the money that you want to convert to.
Convert but United States dollar button.
This is the correct one.
Reverse conversion units button.
And then flick left again.
Chinese yuan button.
That's correct. Tap until you find convert.
United convert button. Result 317.86 USD.
So that's around $318. Those 3 apps I showed you had really benefited me ever since I started using iPad. What are the 3 apps that really benefited you when you started using your iDevices, especially iPad? If you are listening to this podcast on YouTube, please write your answer down in the comments, or you can send it to me via email. And the email address is munnmichael68@gmail.com. That's munnmichael68@gmail.com. You can also send your contribution via telephone. That phone number is 404-923-0115. That's, once again, is 404-923-0115. This is it for this edition of Michael's Weekly Perspective Podcast. If you have any questions or comment, please send an email to me at munnmichael68@gmail.com. Or you can also call using the listener line, and the phone number is 404-923-0115. That's 404-923-0115. Thank you once again for listening to this podcast, and have a nice day.